थैंक यू। ताहिर भाई, एक दो लोगों ने सवाल किए हैं और आपने मुझे अभी बताई थी एक स्टोरी कि आप 9/11 के बाद आपको ने आके एक स्पीच दिया और इसका थियोस था कि स्ट्रेंजर इन माय ओन कंट्री।
I felt stranger in my own country, yes.
हाँ, तो वो उसकी कहानी ज़रा सा
अच्छा
सुनाइए।
अच्छा, हाँ वो आपने नहीं की थी उसको वीडियो, तो अभी हम जाएंगे, असल में यहाँ से नज़दीक ही है एक जगह, तो
Let's talk in English on that one.
English? हाँ. So it's actually the place is not far from here. So interesting enough, so just to give you a background, even George Washington came to that place. Can you imagine? George Washington came to that place many years ago, and that place there is a thing called Lexington Green. So that's the place in 1776 जो वॉर फॉर लिबर्टी हुई थी ना अमेरिका की, अमेरिका वाज अ ब्रिटिश कॉलोनी, तो वो लोग निकल नहीं रहे थे, टैक्सेस बता रहे थे, बट इट्स अ लॉन्ग स्टोरी and you should read it. It's a very interesting story. The whole agitation of war essentially started from some Americans throwing British tea in the sea in Boston, because what they were doing, were importing British tea, which actually was Indian tea from Indian colony, bringing it into US, and then imposing huge taxes. So anyway, there was a war not far from here, and interesting enough, the first person to die in that war was a black man, and I will take Rihan there in a minute. And what happened was, after 9/11, I was at the president of Islamic Center in Wayland. I received a call from a person called Judy Brain. She was the head of Lexington Interfaith Clergy Association. Clergy होते हैं जो priest or rabbis or heads of religious institutions की ये होते हैं. So I mean, America is still a very religious place, by the way, and thousands of people still flock to churches every Sunday or synagogues every Saturday. हमारी मस्जिदें भी काफ़ी भरी होती हैं वैसे Fridays को जो हमारी हैं. But anyway, so she was head of the Lexington Interfaith Clergy Association. So I was running a medical device company at the time. So she essentially called me. She said, "I'm Judy, and I know you're Tahir. You live in Lexington, and you are the current president in Wayland, and we are having a function after 9/11. It's a memorial service, because actually Lexington is one of the most prominent, where we are sitting right now, towns in America. It's one of the very rich, very progressive, very educated town, and so quite a lot of the trends in terms of civil liberties and other things actually start from this town, happens frequently, and we are very well aware of our responsibilities in that regard, because we are trendsetters. So anyhow, so she said we are having a memorial service, and about 20 families were involved in the 9/11. Their friends and family died, and we want to do a memorial service. Would you mind coming and being the keynote speaker? So मैंने कहा कि I don't think so, Judy. I mean, that you're going to get me killed, because I knew the history of that place, because people got killed there. That's where the war started from. And so she said, no, Tahir, you'll be fine. So I talked to my lovely wife, Tahira, and I said, should we do it? Because to me, it seemed my responsibility to go represent the Muslim community and have some visibility, have something to say there, because it was very bad for the Muslims at that time in America. So I agreed. So I prepared a little script and a little speech, and I went there and I spoke. And there were about roughly 1,000 people there on the green, with the microphone and all that. And so I was very afraid. I thought people are going to be very angry, because in this town, especially at that time, there were none of our people. I was the only one Muslim there. I think one other friend of mine, I called and he came, because I was very afraid. So I spoke, and one of the sentences I used was, which was how we felt at the time. I said, I felt stranger in my own country overnight. And actually that's how it felt, because before 9/11 everything was okay. We living our normal lives, and nothing special going on, ran businesses or worked, and we were treated like everybody else. But after 9/11, treatment was totally different. Even in my own company, and I was the CEO of the company, I felt as though I'm not treated the same way as before. People look at you and think you have something to do with the 9/11. So anyway, that's why I said that, and I got the reaction which I was not expecting, and Judy told me later on what happened. So number of people after my speech came to me on the stage, hugged me, gave me a big hug, and they had big tears in their eyes. They were crying literally. And I asked Judy, I said, Judy, what did I say? She said, Tahir, you said, I felt stranger in my own country overnight, and a lot of people can relate to that. And so that's my story about 9/11.
How do you feel living as a Muslim now in America?
Right now, there is a lot of suspicion about Muslims. A lot of people who wear hijab, they always are under scrutiny and suspicion by ordinary people. And the things are not good, but then again, there are a lot of good people in this country. And I already shared some stories with you about the organization. I just attended their meeting last night. They're working on refugee issues. Amazing to me why any white American in that would take their time to raise money, look after refugees, when the US government cannot, because by law they only look after them for 3 to 6 months. And so they are doing it. So, to me, there is a lot of hope. We are doing a vigil on Sunday, and again, I will show Rihan in a minute where we are doing it. I'm pretty sure we'll get at least 300 people on the vigil, meaning against what's going on in America right now, of race and against slogans against Jews and Muslims and other minorities. That's going on right now. So we are doing a vigil just to show, again, this city, we are very fortunate that when we say something, people hear it and pay attention. So hopefully media will be there, TV people will be there. And as I said, I run a marketing company, so I use my own company to market the events to community at large. So that emails and things go out to thousands of people. So people will be there, and it should work out very well.
I asked the founder of CARE, the Council of American Islamic Relations, about the same question, that right now Muslims are under scrutiny and sometimes people feel that they're under scrutiny. What should Muslims do? And his answer was, you're in the limelight, do your dance. So
exactly.
So what would you like to say?
He's absolutely right. That's what everybody says. Essentially, the thing is that at the end of the day, people all over the world, Pakistan, Italy, America, England, each one of us, all the people, they want the same thing. For God's sake, they want peace, they want education, good education for their children, they want a good house to live, a reasonable income to survive. They all want the same thing. When you sit around a table, you look around, everybody wants very similar things. But only when certain elements get together, they do things for political purposes or for their gangs or for their groups. But as individuals, we want the same things. So what limelight and that means, so let people see you who you are. Essentially, that's what he's saying. And this is what I agree that people in the USA and everywhere they should do, because we are just like everybody else. At the end of the day, we want the same thing. We may have different religious traditions. That's what we call it in the US. They are traditions that we are born into. And so that aside, so we just need to let people know who we are, and the fact is most people in America have never met a Muslim. They think it's something out of space or something. So yes, I think Care Guy was right. So let them see you, let them meet with them and so on, let them know who you are. And that's what we need to do. It's nothing to hide. We are good people, like people everywhere.
So most Muslims would never walk into a church. Similarly, most Christians, not all of them, but most majority would not just go to a church. They would feel that it's something wrong to do. Minorities do. A little people like yourself. You know everyone here. Similarly, a lot of Christians would not go to a church, a Muslim mosque. What if we could make them and through social media, we all know people we work with people in the U.S. with different communities. What if we were to use social media more and showcase who we are in the public spaces? So, for example,
that's a good thing to do. Yeah, actually, it's very true that. Well, let me track back. I think most of us go to a church or a synagogue or to a masjid, a mosque, because we tend to revolve around our people. That's why it happens. Religion is certainly part of it, but we go there because we want to socialize with people we know, people who are like us, and network and all that. So that's why we go there. So it's not that Muslims don't want to go into church, because they don't know anybody there, so they're not going to go there.
Right.
You go there sometime for
and vice versa.
Functions. I do, because I have to for different functions and so on, and I enjoy doing that. I love it. And similarly, a lot of Christians and Jews now, they didn't know before. I mean, when I was president, people would ask, can I step into your Islamic center? They said, yes, of course, come anytime. And once they come to Islamic center, they love it. And actually, it's very interesting that and at a larger scale, when you talk to an ordinary American, you tell them, I'm going to Pakistan. They say, oh my God, Pakistan, good luck, I hope you'll be safe. And then I have met Americans who have been to Pakistan and they don't want to come back because they love it there. Love our hospitality, love our people, love our conversation, love our history. It's very much the same here when they come to our mosque. People who are of other cultures or other religious traditions, when they come to our center, they totally love it. And they come again and again and again, because we are. Somebody was just telling me just yesterday from the Immigration and Refugee Committee last night. He said, "My God, the people are so hospitable. To them, it's something foreign. For us, it's just what we are. Somebody comes to your mosque, or comes to your home, we are going to really treat them well, treat them like royal." And so, yeah, I think we have a lot to offer to the society.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Tahir.